Welcome back to a new video. There's going to be a lot to talk about, and I'm going to kind of jump around, but it's like 25 minutes a clip, so hang in there tight because there's a lot to cover as far as training goes and life stuff goes. Charles is behind me taking a snoozer, so he's going to monitor me and make sure I don't forget any important details, but I'll start out by talking about the general week of training and then transition into some of the life things that will be occurring or have occurred in the past week as relating to work, because that is a lot of stuff that's up in the air and just impacts me personally, but also impacts training when there's outside factors that are happening. So as far as actual training, I've been really liking for snatching, doing some pull plus snatch, and as the week went on, I did a pull plus a low hang plus a full snatch, and I think that will be a complex that I'll be doing a lot, as well as a snatch pull plus snatch, just to get additional pulling volume in, but just to really work on that pull. And my shoulder, basically every time I snatch, it feels a little bit better. I'm definitely not there as far as being extremely comfortable and having all of the mobility back, but the discomfort that I was previously experiencing is going down with each session, which is good because I've just been training every day this week and have been going pretty hard and trying to push the weights up heavier, so nothing's getting aggravated or getting worse. In fact, even after a difficult training day, it feels better the next day, so that is really encouraging, and the mobility is getting better each day with that. So I'm looking forward to continuing being able to build upon the previous sessions as far as snatching goes. One of the other adjustments, and I made a community post about this, was with my training with the clean. I have adjusted, or at least been experimenting with just doing cleans, and part of that was just because of my shoulder. I knew I wasn't going to be trying to do heavy clean jerks because it probably wouldn't have been a smart idea. But as you see with this lift here, doing a pull plus a clean and getting all the way up to 160, kind of just trying to ride the momentum from the competition into my normal training and trying to push up the clean and trying to get comfortable with these heavier weights and trying to make anything above 160 just be a more and more routine. And if I can get to like 170 with clean complexes, then that certainly will bode well for me just doing generally well. I'm kind of, I think, at the point now where in order for me to really progress in these complexes and really just in getting closer to 170, I'll have to start squatting more weight, which, I mean, I'm already doing in a sense. Like, I'm doing a good amount of volume and the squats are going well, but I think that once my back squats are up a little bit, my front squats continue to move up a little bit as well, that I'll be able to start to drive up heavier weights in the clean. And that's somewhat of my main focus, because it's I don't want to say the safest thing to be doing right now, but it's it doesn't aggravate my shoulder or anything. I'm not worried about, there's no like issues with me doing cleans. When I'm doing snatches, like, some of it is of course technique, as it always will be, but a lot of it is just trying to make my shoulder be as comfortable as possible and just be comfortable and confident in doing the snatching. But for cleans, everything feels really good with that, and there's definitely some things from a technical standpoint that I can see that I could improve with heavier weights, just kind of catching that bounce or just trying to make them look easier. But as my legs get stronger, hopefully those look better as well. As you saw there with that back squat, I was able to get up to 185 for a set of 5. And similar to how I was training squats prior to my competition, I'm doing quick sets, so I'm trying to do them all connected as much as I can. I haven't necessarily been able to do that for every set, but doing sets of 5, it becomes a little bit more difficult. But I'm mostly focused on getting on the volume, but trying to do them without spending a ton of time in between reps, just to get as much stimulus, or to get just a better stimulus, I suppose, in my opinion, with those. With that 185, felt good for a set of 5, and then I've been waving a lot up and down with weights, and I find that it allows me to just work at a higher average intensity, but also allows me to kind of buy into each set. If I'm doing the same weight, then I'm just trying to survive the workout. But here, if I'm pushing up, I know that it's going to be heavier or lighter, so that I can kind of vary whether I'm focusing on the speed or just trying to do a heavier set. And just going up and down, I don't know, I've been really liking it, and I want to continue to add it in for both back squats and front squats. I think it gives me some quality reps with the lower weights, and then obviously some of the strength with the top sets, and it just allows me just to do more work and to do, I would say, higher quality work than if I were to say try to do like multiple sets at 185. It's easier and probably better from a technique and a strength standpoint to do some additional sets with lighter weights. Here's some of the band work accessory that I did on this day. I don't remember doing a ton of shoulder stuff this week. Since my shoulder's been feeling better, I haven't been feeling the need to do a ton of extra shoulder stuff throughout the week. But on this day, as you saw, doing some rear delts and then doing some chest flies. And I remember doing these at least twice in the week, but just not really focusing on my chest a ton because my chest actually got sore the first time I did these, but really just focusing after I was doing these reps on that stretch. And that felt really good on my shoulders. So I think as my shoulders start to feel better, I want to, go crazy with the band work all the time, but it certainly will be something that will be good to add in with a lot of these training sessions. Later in the week, I had a front squat triple up to 160, which I feel like I've done that before, but it certainly is really good to be up to that weight and to do. I think later at the end of the week, I did a 160 clean for a double. So like the weights that I'm working with are going up and everything's feeling really good. My pulls, like I pulled 295 for a deadlift, which isn't the most relevant thing for my training. It's just kind of fun, but like even the clean pulls and snatch pulls, like all of that's feeling really good. So like in general, like I'm really happy with the direction that training is going and kind of the groove that I'm in, where I have a strength focused day, whether it's like a front squat or a back squat and then some pulls, and then a classics day where I'm focused on snatch and clean jerk, which doesn't mean that I can't do a snatch and clean jerk on a different day. But if I'm training like I am today, after I edit this video, then I'll be focused more so on doing squatting work, or that will be like the main like focus of the workout. But I could do some snatches and stuff, and that's kind of stuff that I feel out while I'm out there training, or at least like warming up to train, to kind of see what I want to do. Now this complex is one I'm kind of using it as a benchmark of if I'm able to do like this 100 here for snatch push press plus overhead squat as a number that I'm able to snatch comfortably and safely, and it's certainly feeling really difficult to do. And I'm kind of getting to the weights that are just gonna feel generally difficult to do overhead squats with, but a lot of it is kind of the mobility, and this was the set above that, so I was actually confident enough to go up to this 110, and this certainly felt difficult. But as these overhead squats hopefully start to feel a little bit easier, then I'll be able to add more weight on the classic snatches or within the complexes. And the reason I'm opting for doing the push press plus overhead squat instead of doing snatch balances like I had done during the previous couple months is because it's a little bit more predictable, in the sense that I'm not worried about the balance of the movement. I'm worried about just purely the strength of what I am doing. And because it's a little bit more predictable, I feel a little bit more confident doing it. And with a snatch balance, I really just don't want to mess up my shoulder. I don't want to re-aggravate anything. I've got a lot of positive momentum moving in the right direction, and I don't want to regress and have to go back to square one, because everything's been feeling better. And I think doing push press plus overhead squat is just a more stable movement. Front squats plus jerks have continued to move up. I think the last time I did it prior to this workout was with 130, so I got up to 140 here. And then here are some snatch pulls, which this is the session where I did the 295 deadlift, and you can see I did normal working sets prior to that. So I actually got quite a bit of volume in prior to working up on these pulls after I got to, I believe it was 240. There's not a definitive number that I want to do clean pulls and snatch pulls at. I just generally want to increase the weight as I'm doing them and continue to do repetitions with the weight to build general strength and to just feel confident with the weights that I will hopefully be working with in the snatch and clean jerk. Obviously not a weight like this 210, but doing like the snatch pulls with 130, doing the clean pulls with like 180, like hopefully those are weights that I'm actually doing a clean or a snatch with in the near future. But it just will build general strength, and they just feel good to do, and I think it's just good for my hips in general to do them, as well as obviously my lower back. One adjustment I actually made that's kind of not related to the pulling themselves, but I moved the pulls behind the normal part of the platform. I'm not getting a big divot in, but there is a little bit of a spot where it kind of rests, and you can kind of see in front of where on the far side that part of the stall mat that is a little bit darker. It's, I think, just getting a little bit beat up, so I'm trying to do the pulls a little bit further back on the platform just to wear that part out a little bit more evenly so it's not all in that same spot, and then using the pads if I'm doing jerks and whatnot. But this is a bunch of pressing I did after the pulls and stuff, and I just have one continuous clip because I did it all pretty quick. As you see, I'm in the flip-flop, so I know I'm not going to a super maximal weight. I'm just trying to get some good pressing work in, and just trying to build general volume. And that's kind of just the phase of training that I'm in now, is just trying to get as much volume and strength. And I guess I'm listening to a video. I don't know why I look so goofy right now, but it's just trying to get stronger, and that's kind of the main focus. Not so much on, snatching or cleaning, jerking a heavy weight, but just trying to work with heavier weights in those classics, but while trying to increase the squat and the pulls just kind of naturally improve, which is thankfully a gift of mine, where I can just linearly progress those to over 100% of both my clean and my snatch really easily. It's doing the same thing with front squats and back squats. That will be a little bit more difficult because I'm just not built as well for those, particularly for the front squats. Now, kind of transitioning to the fun life stuff. Sorry for all that creaking. I had to move around on my chair and pet Bobo a little bit because he's sitting next to my chair, very concerned that I moved around because he's laying next to me. I got both the dogs in the room since my roommates are out of the house today, which is makes it a little bit easier for recording videos as well, since you don't have to worry about the random shouting of a good old gamer on the other room. But as far as life stuff goes, so that's the other kind of weird thing that's been happening in my life. So going into teaching, I always envisioned it being a really stable job and being something that, yeah, it'd be stressful. I'm not going to make a ton of money, but it's like a consistent thing where you have summers off, you have good health benefits. It's an enjoyable profession. But the district has been having a lot of issues with finances, and it's created a lot of instability with a lot of teaching positions, with a lot of the cuts that they have been making, a pretty large amount of cuts, and I believe that there's going to be even more. So I believe I talked about this in the last big video, but I could be a junior high phys ed teacher. Very unlikely, but I could still continue the same job that I have now as an elementary phys ed teacher. I could move to being an intervention specialist, which is a special education teacher at the elementary level, or I could potentially do any of those things at another school district. A lot of that is, of course, unknown now. We'll know, not just myself, but a lot of people will know a lot more on Monday, because there is a board meeting / special commission meeting, since our district is being run by the state right now. So we will know a lot more about what our district will look like next year as far as the alignment, since our buildings were realigned for a little bit and then that was tabled, and so that's kind of gone back and forth. So there's been a lot of questions about there, which is of course stressful for the students and for the teachers and just the community in general to know like what's going on with the school district. So hopefully there is a lot more clarity with that on Monday, at least in Monday at the evening. So I'll have to do another quick session of training on that day in order to be able to attend that meeting, although I believe it's at 6:30 instead of 6, so it should give me a little bit more time when I get home to get some good training in. So one of these, the training session where I did the front squats, that session I did in 30 minutes because I was going to a board meeting on Thursday, and that's when that session happened, where I did all of those front squats and pulls in such a quick time frame. My low back got a nice little pump, but it was definitely a difficult session as far as the weights I chose to lift, but also because of the time frame, and actually ended up being a really good session. And thankfully I just had to kind of go. I didn't really have time to think and like worry about, oh, I don't know, this weight. It's like, I'm just gonna do it, and wherever I fail, if I do, then it's like that's just where I'm gonna be. And it was certainly difficult because it was quite hot outside and I'm training really fast, so I definitely was sweating quite a bit, which is just good for this point of training, or this time of training. I don't have to be trying to maximize every facet of what I'm doing. I'm just trying to get good repetitions in, trying to build session to session, trying to get repeatable sessions and repeatable exercises, not necessarily on the same day each week, but just trying to increase, say, like what I'm going to do for a set of 5 in the back squat, trying to increase what I'm doing for front squats and stuff. But that session was really nice because it was quick because of the board meeting. And I think so I kind of went back and forth, but after the next board meeting and commission meeting on Monday, there should be more clarity, which next week is the last week of school stuff. There's going to be field day for students on Monday and Tuesday, which is the big day for PE teachers. And then Wednesday is Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, our teachers have to be there. And Wednesday is 6th grade ceremony, since it's currently not graduation for them, since they may not be going to the junior high. They may be staying at that building if they're realigned, but we'll know that on Monday. But They'll have their ceremony on Wednesday, and then the teachers have the rest of the day to pack because over half our district is going to be moving to different buildings and different positions in different parts of the district potentially, or moving out of the district. Well, I'd say I don't know what percentage that would be of moving to different buildings and moving out of the district, but quite a lot of people are moving stuff around. So because of all the movement within the district, the school has used, I believe, 2 calamity days on the last that Thursday and Friday to give us time to pack stuff up if we need to, which hopefully we know whether we need to or not on Monday. It's kind of a big day, kind of everything's leading up to, but it's stressful because there's going to be field day happening all day. I'm going to want to train on that day, and then there's going to be that stressful board meeting. So my training might not be that great Monday and Tuesday, because Tuesday is also field day, but Monday might not be very good, and so I might have to make adjustments and just have that be a really light session, and maybe focus on doing like pressing and stuff. And then tomorrow on Sunday, since I have all day to train and all day to rest and recover for training, I can kind of go crazy and do everything. Same, what's today? Saturday, so I could also kind of go crazy on this day as well. So, kind of maybe put myself behind a little bit in recovery, because I'll be able to train pretty hard on the weekend, and then Monday will probably have to be a pretty quick and light day because I'll be just generally stressed and wanting to make sure that I'm at that meeting on time and not obviously like going right there from training. Thankfully, I live about 8 minutes from the school that I teach at, so getting to those meetings isn't ever really that big of a deal. But getting back from school, because our day ends at 4 o'clock, and so I usually get home about 4:15 if I leave, right after school. And then, getting back, getting ready to train, getting caffeine, and letting the dogs out and all of that. Usually, if I'm really on the ball, I can get training around 5, but that's why I don't typically, board meetings shouldn't be that eventful and shouldn't be that exciting because they should just be basic routine stuff. But unfortunately, ours are a lot more important to go to now because of all the stuff that's happening within our district. But there's a lot to figure out in probably the next month, even if everything's figured out for the district at this current point, or at least on Monday. Regardless of what happens with Monday or the last week of school or any of that, summer break will be starting after that Friday, so that will hopefully continue to be really good training for me, as most summers are. I know last summer I had the issue where I hurt my hip doing a clean, and so I spent most of the summer trying to recover that. But the current momentum that I have now, I think I'll be able to train really hard during the summer and hopefully really push up at least numbers in some of the lifts in different ways, and maybe in the total as well. But I just want to get my shoulder back to feeling 100%, really push my cleans up, and set myself up for that 300 plus total, because I don't just want to stop at 300. I want to push above there. I want to snatch 140. I want to clean and jerk 180. Like, I want to push these numbers, but I have to build a base up. I have to actually, attempt these numbers in different ways, whether it be, just in a regular clean or just in a jerk. I have to build these numbers. I can't just be, I want to do these numbers eventually. Like, I have to start, touching heavier numbers and start to building the strength, and not just squatting and pulling more weight, but actually, working with heavier weights and complexes and trying to improve technique while doing that, which I think keeping everything separate as far as, the snatch work and cleans and the jerks, keeping that all on its separate times, or at least in separate movements, will be good, at least for this time frame, because I don't have a competition planned. I most likely won't do anything until probably this time next year, honestly, because I just want to get stronger. I'm not trying to qualify for anything. I'm not trying to, make a team or anything like that. I'm not anywhere near something that at that high of a level. I just want to push myself and get stronger, and that's the reason I always do the same local meet. It's not so much that I think competing is bad. I think it's a good thing because it's a test of what you can do. But I don't think the location or the kind of competition is really that important, because at the end of the day, you're competing against yourself and you're trying to improve what you have done the previous time. And I just don't really worry about if I'm at a competition. I'm like, I need people to be pushing me for me to want to go up. Like, I have enough pressure on myself to improve the numbers that I've done previously and to push myself. I don't need someone to be doing, around the same weight. I just want to improve from the previous competition, from the previous training cycle, and all that good stuff. But this is the last day of the training week, and as you saw the previous day with the front squats and the clean pull or the snatch pulls, I ended up being pretty fatigued from those, and the snatches didn't really go as well as I had hoped. I was hoping to be able to get up to 100 again, and you kind of see it just wasn't happening. And in a sense, it's not good to have misses and whatnot, but I'm trying to work hard. I'm trying to do the reps better as I'm moving up, but I'm also happy that even though I missed and had issues, getting to 100 and hitting those weights and doing what I wanted to do in the session, nothing got aggravated in the shoulder. Nothing feels worse. In fact, I feel fine today, and I want to almost do some more snatching again today. So it's nothing that's really getting worse or anything like that, and each day it slowly improves, which is definitely what you want to see, but certainly was a struggle on this day. The cleans went really well, and I was pleasantly surprised with that. This is at the end of the session is where I do the 160 for a double. It was definitely a very difficult double, and it wasn't one where I did it and I was like, oh, I have more. Like, that was 100% of what I could do for a double, but that was, I believe, at least a 5 kilogram PR for the clean double, if not a 10, because I don't know. I feel like I probably have done like a weird kilo number, like 152 or something for a double, but I don't remember that. I'd have to look back at my training, but I knew 160 was something I had not done for a double at any point, so I knew it was going to be just a PR in general. After doing the cleans, I did some bodybuilding work, and usually when I go to the gym, I don't record the accessory work just because I don't want to be bothering people that are over there and talking and whatnot to record, tricep extensions or whatever else that I was doing. I believe on this day it was just tricep extension, and then I went back over to where I'm lifting currently right now and did some bicep curls just with a bar, and then I added the 2.5 kilo plates, or the 5 kilo plates, and for 30 kilos for a couple curls. And so basically just did triceps and biceps after and got a good pump from those. Not so much in the biceps, but more so in the triceps, but that's just kind of how it is sometimes. And just general good accessory training. I think just getting my arms stronger and stuff will always be a good thing, and just trying to always continually build the upper body, as I'm improving hopefully my technique a bit, and just getting stronger in the lifts. But even on a day like you see all these misses where things are going bad, quote unquote, for this lift, I'm still doing a snatch pull, I'm still doing a hang snatch, and then even if I miss the snatch at the end, like I'm still getting a good amount of volume in, and that's kind of the main focus right now, I suppose, is just biasing volume and complexes versus just trying to do 1 rep maxes, because that's just not really the shape that I want to be in right now. And even though like cleans, they're going really well, I just want to make sure that I'm pushing up in complexes. I'm not doing singles in the clean, I'm trying to do doubles. And I think the only exception with the clean doubles, I did doubles here with 160, 110, 140, and then 150 I did a single. I don't know exactly why I did the single. I guess it was to save some of the G, but on one of these reps, I feel like it wasn't on the 150. It might have been here on the 140. My thumb tape started to slip, and that's terrifying on a clean because you just kind of lose connection with the bar. But I don't know if that was on the 150 or not, but that's definitely something to always be aware of, to make sure your thumb tape is kind of tight on there to make sure everything is feeling good. But I was happy with this 140, and certainly a crazy big improvement from doing the clean pull plus clean earlier in the week with that 160. Here's the 150 clean. Right foot's kind of weird where it kind of external rotates a lot when I'm catching in a clean, but that's just something to kind of pay attention to. But here's a 160 for a double, and I left the full clip in, unlike the short that I made, just to show the amount of time in between, which is a decent amount of time, but it's also a clean, and it's also a heavy weight for myself, so I'm not worried about spending a lot of time in between the rep or trying to do this short as possible, because heavy cleans are not the safest lift, and I'd rather spend more time to feel confident to try it again than trying to rush through it just to say that I did like a really quick double. But you see the second rep, I caught it a little better than the first one. The first one I lost my front rack a little bit, but the second one I had to really fight for the top of it. So hopefully that weight becomes easier and easier, and then I can start to push up heavier and heavier. But that's going to be it for this one. So if you made it this far, I appreciate it. You made it to the end of this really long video. And yeah, hopefully, lifting continues to go well in this next week of training. And hopefully life continues to get better as well. But I'll talk to you all in the next video. And I hope you all have a great day. Peace.